Hey guys, today I'm doing lesson 12.4, which is on page 659. This is customary units of liquid volume. This is where things get a little tricky today. Customary units, again, is back to the mostly American system of measurement. Let me show you back to where we learned this. Okay, so we did length a couple videos ago. We did weight already, and now we're doing volume. So we've got, volume includes gallons, half gallons, quarts, pints, ounces, and cups. So all of these fit inside each other. And so that's kind of what I want to show you today with a couple different activities so you can see a little bit more about how that works. Before we only had like a yard, and we would divide a yard into 3 feet and each foot into 12 inches. Same thing with down here. We would have, 2,000 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, and 1 pound is 16 ounces. So we went back and forth between those. These ones, there's a few more in between each of those, so that's why it gets a little funky after a while. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways of looking at it so that you can get a better understanding of it. So again, I'm back to page 659. And I'm going to read through this with you first. It says liquid volume is the measure of the space of a liquid occupies. Some basic units for measuring liquid volume are gallons, half gallons, quarts, pints, and cups. The bars below show the relationship among some units of liquid volume. The largest units are gallons, and the smallest units are fluid ounces. So they give you the conversions up here. 1 cup has 8 ounces in it. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 4 cups. But then they give you this really cool picture right here. This reminds me a lot of when we had all the fraction strips together. We would have one whole fraction strip, and then we would do the half size pieces, and then we would do the 1/4 size pieces, and then the 1/8 size pieces. So again, measurement works a lot like fractions. So if you think of them in terms of that, I'll show you a picture using this, and then I'll also show you using something else, so you can kind of see them side by side, so you can see how they all work together. So inside 1 gallon, I'm going to color code mine today. You don't have to do this, but this would be something fun if you want to do it. I got out 6 colored pencils. I got all colors of the rainbow. You probably heard me knock them over a minute ago. So I got all 6 colors of the rainbow. And all I did was grab that. You can use markers or crayons, whatever you've got. And I grabbed a piece of paper. Now on that piece of paper, I drew a big letter G. Okay? And that G is in red, and it represents gallons. So think of like a big gallon of milk that your mom maybe has in the fridge. Okay? And all of these other units of measurement fit inside that 1 gallon. So 1 gallon is divided into half-size gallons, which I'm not going to draw on here, but I'll draw on here so you can see them. But I'm going to draw in the gallons first so you can see my color coding. This is kind of hard to do through the camera. Whoa. So I've got the gallons in here. So I'm going to color that one red. Okay, and then each gallon can be divided into 2 half gallons, which makes sense. We know that 2 half-size pieces fit into 1 whole-size piece. Again, I'm not going to draw it on my G over here, but I'll color these in with orange. This would be like if your mom got a small gallon of milk. It looks like a small gallon. It's only a half size. Sometimes orange juice comes in half-size gallons. We like to get chocolate milk at home in the half-size gallons. Okay, so there's 2 of those. Each gallon is also broken down into what are called quarts. So quarts they're bigger than a cup and they're smaller than a half gallon. Obviously, they're somewhere in the middle. There's 4 quarts inside 1 gallons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to color those yellow. Okay. And then over here with my G, I'm going to draw in 4 big letter Q's. Okay. Now bear with me, I'm still holding my camera today, so I gotta do all this one-handed, and we'll see how it goes. So I've got oh, I got an idea. Hang on one second. I'll get a little piece of tape. Hold that down. So I've got 1 letter Q, 2 letter Q's, I need some more tape. Okay, so just pretend all those Q's are the same size. That's good. But there are 4 quarts inside every gallon. So if you were to have 1 quart of milk, you could pour 4 full quarts into 1 gallon size and it would fill it up. So that's why I did 4 Q's inside this big G to show that I can fit 4 quarts full of milk into 1 gallon of milk. So the yellow is the quarts. Okay. Each quart is divided into 2 pints. So if we come back to our fraction strips over here, so I got our 1 gallon half size, 1/4 size, and then the 1 pints are each 1/8 of a gallon, but there's 2 pints in a quart, 4 pints in a half gallon, and like I said, 8 pints in a whole gallon. So I'm going to color those green. Okay, because there are 2 pints in 1 quart, I'm going to come over to each of my Q's, and I'm going to draw 2 letter P's inside each one to represent a pint. So 1 pint, 2 pints, 1 pint, 2 pints, 1 pint, 2 pints, 1 pint, 2 pints. Okay, so if I were to ask you how many pints are in a gallon, you could be like, ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pints in a whole gallon. The next size down, the next size smaller, are cups, which is probably what you're most familiar with. So I'm going to color all the cups blue. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cups in 1 gallon. 8 cups in a half gallon. 4 cups in a quart. 2 cups in a pint. So for each of my pints over here, whoops, I forgot to label my colors over here. Shame on me. Pint. So I'm gonna say the blue is the cups. Inside each pint, I'm going to put 2 cups. Because according to my fractions, 2 cups makes up 1 pint. So inside each pint, put your 2 cups. So if I said, okay, how many cups are in a quart? You could be like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 cups in 1 quart. So that kind of helps you see that too. And then the last one we've got, whoops, is fluid ounces. So we used ounces in the other video with, we had pounds and ounces, if you remember that one. This is talking about ounces of solid objects. So like with this one, it would use a tomato. You could use books. You could use pencils. You could use paper clips. You could use ounces of whatever. But those are for solid objects only, because that one is measured in weight. We don't measure liquid in weight very much. We usually just measure it in volume. We measure liquid in how much space something takes up. So 8 ounces is the size of 1 cup. We use purple. 8 ounces is in 1 cup. So we color all those in. Oops, coloring outside the lines. So then I would have ounces. Now, I'm not going to sit here and put all the ounces in here, because then I'd have to draw 8 FLs everywhere, because these are measured in fluid ounces, because you're not measuring solid objects, you're measuring liquids. So liquid volume is fluid ounces. It's just regular ounces for solid objects. And I know you guys have done solids, liquids, and gases with Mr. Hill. So you guys know the difference between those. So I'm just going to put little 8s to remind me that there are 8 ounces inside each cup. Okay, so it's so pretty, but it will help us really see how this works. So if I were to ask you, okay, how many cups are in a pint? Well, I take one big P, and I know that the purples are the cup or the ounces. So if I said how many ounces are in a pint, it would be 8 plus 8, that'd be 16. 16 ounces in 1 pint. So this kind of helps us get an idea of how many it would be. If you like this one better, by all means use this one. But I highly recommend making something like this, because this actually helps your brain really see how everything fits inside other things. But if your brain likes the fraction strips, by all means use those. Okay? So I'm not going to do these questions with you, because I want to move on. But these questions kind of just help you think through what we just talked about. Okay. So this was comparing measurements again, just like we did before. Same rules apply. You want to be comparing only the same units as each other. So if something's in cups and something's in gallons, you want to make sure that they are the same unit before you compare them. If they're in pints and quarts, you want to make sure that they are one or the other. Again, I recommend going from, same rules as before, going from the bigger object, taking the bigger object and turning it into the smaller size, and then comparing the smaller sizes from there. Then all you have to do is multiply. Otherwise, you have to divide and use fractions, and it gets to become more complicated than it really needs to be. So it says Serena needs to make 8 gallons of lemonade for the lemonade sale. She has a powder mix that makes 350 fluid ounces of lemonade. How can she decide if she has enough powder mix? So it says that she needs 3 gallons, and she only has 350 ounces. So we're going to turn this gallons into ounces so we can compare and see if she has enough. Use the model on page 659. That's talking about this right here. If you want to use this, or you can use your big G that we've got over here. And move that over so we can see it there. Now they're side by side. Sort of. All right, so we got to figure out 1 gallon is how many cups. That's what we got to figure out next. Okay. So let me grab. I'm gonna grab my notes. And yes, I took notes before I did this lesson. You'll be so proud of me, guys. Okay, so this helps me stay on track with you. So I gotta figure out 1 gallon is how many cups. So if I come over here to my G, okay, 1 gallon is how many cups? Well, in this whole gallon, all I have to do is count my C's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 cups in a gallon. And 1 cup we know has 8 ounces in it. So I'm going to do 1 gallon equals 16 cups times 8 fluid ounces, which means 16 times 8 is 128 fluid ounces. So 1 gallon is 128 ounces. But it says in the problem that she has 3 gallons. So we got to figure out, oh, that's a big number. We got to figure out how many ounces are in 3 gallons, not just 1 gallon. We can use tables like we've done before. So we have 1 gallon is 128 ounces. 2 gallons, you just simply multiply 2 gallons times 128 ounces. Because there's 128 ounces in each of the 2 gallons, which means we need to multiply. Which gives us 256 ounces for 2 gallons. Okay. And then 3 gallons works the same way. 128 times each of the 3 gallons gives us 384 fluid ounces. So now we can compare. We've got everything in ounces, so we're going to keep them in ounces. So we got 350 fluid ounces, which was how much she has, according to the problem. So she's got this much lemonade mix for that. So we're going to keep that the same. And then I'm going to do fluid ounces. Remember, OZ is the same thing for ounces. And then 3 gallons, we figured out, was 384 fluid ounces. And this is how much she needs. So how much she needs to make 3 gallons. How much she needs is greater than how much she has. So that's why we kind of labeled these. That kind of helps us understand the problem a little better. She needs that many ounces of mix. She only has this much, so she doesn't have quite enough just to go to the store. 350 fluid ounces is less than 3 gallons, so Serena does not have enough mix to make 3 gallons of lemonade. So again, what's important with these comparison problems is that you compare same unit to same unit. So I couldn't do ounces to gallons. I had to turn the gallons into ounces, and then I can compare, because then they're both the same at that point. Because again, if you look at this, it's really tricky. You're like, oh, 350, that's bigger than 3, so this one has to be bigger. Not necessarily, because that is a smaller unit, which means it doesn't take up as much space as a gallon does. So by putting them in the same size piece, or the same size unit, you can actually compare in a more fair way. So, I'm going to move this around. Okay, so let's practice some of these. They actually wrote them out for you with equal signs, but if you use this G that we made, it works the same way. It's just a picture version, and this is more of a list version. So compare the size of a quart to the size of a pint. So we have 1 quart size, which is one of the big Q's here. 1 quart is the same thing as 2 what? So if we go over here, we got 1 quart. 1 quart's on here twice. We have 2 boxes though, so we know we need to use 2 pints. Same thing over here. Inside my quart, the thing that has 2 of them is the pints. So this is 1 pint and 1 pint. So 1 quart is 2 times as much as 1 pint. So these all work the same way as the other ones. You just have to look at what size they want you to go to and figure out how many equals that is inside how many they already gave you. So if we have 2 pints, well, I know that 1 pint is 2 cups, because that's what I'm going to is cups. So I'm going to multiply the 2 pints times the 2 cups. Which equals 4 cups. So with these problems, you're just trying to figure out what equals each other. If I were to scoop out 4 cups of ice cream, that would be the same amount of ice cream as 2 pints of ice cream. Same amount, just different numbers and different units. And then I've got 3 gallons, and I'm going to quarts. So here's all the gallon ones. I can get 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Same thing over here. Look, my whole gallon, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4 Qs. That's 4 quarts. So I'm going to do 3 gallons times 4 quarts, which equals 12. So if I had 3 of these big gallon things and I counted how many quarts there would be, I would have 12 Qs. And then this one goes from quarts to cups. So I know my conversion is 1 quart equals 4 cups. Same thing if you look over here. 1 quart equals, look at the blue ones, 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. So I'm going to do 6 quarts times 4 cups, which equals 24. Again, 24 cups of ice cream is the same thing as 6 quarts of ice cream. Oh, I got to thinking. A pint of ice cream is like the size of like a Ben & Jerry's ice cream. If you've ever had Ben & Jerry's ice cream before, it's like the, not tiny size containers of ice cream, but like medium-ish sizes. Yeah, so if you like Ben & Jerry's, that's the same size as a pint of ice cream. All right, so use a model or iTools to complete. We don't have iTools. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 2 up here, all you need to do is just convert them. Convert this one from gallons to pints, cups to ounces. This one, convert to the smallest unit, and then compare. So go ahead and pause the video right here. And here's your answers. 4 gallons to pints. So I'm going to go over here. Gallons is 8 pints. So same thing over here. Gallons. If I look at the whole gallon, I have 8 P's. So I'm going to do 4 gallons times 8 pints. So 4 times 8 is 32. So 32 pints will fit into 4 gallons. 5 cups, cups to ounces. 1 cup is 8 ounces. Remember, we drew it over here. 1 cup is 8 ounces. So I'm going to do 5 cups times 8 ounces equals 40. So that's 40 ounces. Now with these guys down here, figure out what the conversion is. So how many cups are in a gallon? Look at your gallon. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I'm going to do 2 gallons times 16 cups, which gives me 32 cups. So 32 cups compared to 32 cups, those are equal. Pints to cups, the cups is the smallest one, so I'm going to turn this one into the small ones. Over here, 1 pint is 2 cups. Same thing over here, look at a P. 1 pint is 2 cups. So I'm going to do 4 pints times 2 cups, which equals 8. So 8 cups compared to 6 cups, the 8 one is bigger. And finally, quarts to pints. So I've got, here's a quart, I've got 2 pints in a quart. So I'm going to do 5 times 2, and that equals 10. 10 pints compared to 11 pints, the 11 pints is bigger. Okay. I'm going to do this last problem with you. I think there might be more on the next page, but I want to make sure our video stays less than 30 minutes, so I don't want to go too far over that. But this one's kind of interesting to think about. So the soccer team has 25 players. The team's thermos holds 4 gallons of water. If the thermos is full, is there enough water for each player to have 2 cups? How I would do this one is I would try to see, okay, we're trying to figure out if each player can have 2 cups. I got to figure out how many cups are inside that thermos. So I got to see, for 4 gallons, that equals how many cups. So I can go up to here. 1 gallon is 16 cups. Again, if you come over here, count all the C's inside that gallon, you get 16 of them. So I'm going to do 4 times 16, which equals, if you're not sure, come off to the side. 64. So there's 64 cups. And it says if the thermos is full, is there enough for each player to have 2 cups? Well, if each player had 2 cups, that's 25 times 2. That's 50. 64 is more than enough cups for each player, so they have plenty to go around. All right, guys. So your next couple pages, this one you can do if you want. This one's a bit of a challenge. There's a couple challenge problems on here if you want to do those for yourself. And then this page is your normal homework page. You just do the front like normal and the lesson check questions. The spiral review, again, are optional. They're a good idea since you have a little extra time on your hands at home. But if you don't, that's fine too. That's not required. Tomorrow, I will start in on some line plots with you. We're going to use some fractions. Well, we know about fractions and combine them with line plots tomorrow. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment below, and I'll have more videos for you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.